My daughter sent me an email 3 days before her wedding. 5 words. Don't come, it's complicated. I'm Linda Thompson. I'm 62 years old. I built Elegance Catering from a church basement kitchen in Bronzeville to an empire that feeds Chicago's elite. I've catered for mayors, corporate executives, and families whose names are on buildings downtown. I've made presidents and millionaires wait for my honey-glazed salmon. I've turned down clients because my calendar was full, but apparently I wasn't refined enough to eat at my own daughter's table. The email came on a Tuesday afternoon. April 8th, 2:47 p.m. I was in my office at our South Side headquarters, reviewing contracts for the Harris wedding that weekend. My phone buzzed. I saw Jasmine's name and smiled. My baby girl, my only child, getting married in 3 days at the Drake Hotel, the same Drake where I'd built my reputation catering their most exclusive events for 15 years. I opened the email. Subject, wedding update. Mama, change of plans. Brandon's family wants intimate ceremony. Family only. You understand, right? We'll send photos. Love, Jazz. I read it 3 times. Then I read it again. Family only. But I was her family. I was her only family on her mother's side. Her father and I divorced 12 years ago, but that didn't change biology. That didn't change the 24 years I'd spent raising her, loving her, building a life so she'd never struggle the way I did. I called her immediately, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Baby, call me. Need to talk about the email." 6 hours later, she responded, "Mama, don't be dramatic. It's just one day." Just one day. The day I'd been dreaming about since she was born. The day I'd been helping plan, or thought I'd been helping plan, for 8 months. The day that was costing $95,000, $60,000 of which I'd already paid. That night, I sat in my house in Hyde Park, the house I bought in 2015, the house with the chef's kitchen I'd always dreamed of, and I tried to understand. I pulled out my planner. Every wedding planning meeting was documented. March 3rd, venue tour at Drake. March 10th, tasting menu with Jasmine and Brandon. March 17th, dress shopping at Saks. March 24th, meeting with the florist. I was there. I participated. I remembered everything. So why was my daughter telling me I wasn't invited to her wedding? Let me take you back so you understand who I am, who I was before all this happened. I grew up in Bronzeville in the 1970s and 80s. My grandmother, Ruth Wilson, raised me after my mother died when I was 7. Grandma Ruth had a tiny kitchen in a brownstone on 47th Street. That kitchen fed half the neighborhood. After church on Sundays, people would stop by for her collard greens and cornbread. During the civil rights movement, she fed organizers and activists who came through Chicago. She taught me that feeding people wasn't just about food. It was about love. It was about community. It was about dignity. "Linda, baby," she'd say, stirring a pot of gumbo, "when you feed someone, you're telling them they matter. You're telling them they belong. Don't ever forget that." I never did. I started cooking professionally in 1982. I was 19 years old. Mrs. Patterson from our church asked if I could cater her husband's funeral reception. 50 people. She paid me $50 and cried when she tasted my lemon pound cake. "This tastes like home," she said. "This tastes like he's still here." That's when I knew. Food was my language. Food was how I loved people. For the next 10 years, I catered small events, church gatherings, birthday parties, family reunions. I saved every dollar. In 1992, I scraped together enough to rent a small commercial kitchen space. I called it Elegance Catering because I wanted people to know that soul food could be elegant, that our food, our culture, our traditions deserve to be treated with the same respect as any French restaurant downtown. I married Robert Thompson in 1990. He was a corporate lawyer at a big firm, smart man, ambitious man. We met at a fundraiser I catered. He loved my ambition. At least he said he did. Jasmine was born in 2000, 24 years ago. I held her in the hospital and promised her she'd have everything I didn't. Education, opportunities, choices. Robert left in 2012 when Jasmine was 12. He left for a 28-year-old associate at his firm. He left behind our marriage and our daughter. In the divorce, I kept my business. He kept his practice. We agreed on joint custody, but Jasmine lived with me most of the time. Robert saw her every other weekend and on holidays. Here's what I remember from that time. Jasmine was 12 years old, confused and hurt. One night, about a month after Robert moved out, she asked me, Mama, did Daddy leave because of your job? What do you mean, baby? He said your job was embarrassing, that you work too much, that you smell like food all the time. I remember sitting very still. I remember choosing my words carefully. Baby, your daddy and I had grown-up problems that had nothing to do with you. My job isn't embarrassing. My job feeds people. My job feeds us. And I'm proud of it. She nodded. But I saw something in her eyes. Something that worried me. She was internalizing Robert's words. She was learning to be ashamed of what I did. I worked harder after that. Not just to prove Robert wrong, but to show Jasmine what was possible. I expanded Elegance Catering. I hired more staff. I pursued bigger clients. By 2015, we were catering for Chicago's elite, corporate events at the Art Institute, weddings at the Four Seasons, fundraisers for politicians and CEOs. And through it all, I made sure Jasmine had the best schools, the best clothes, the best opportunities. I sent her to Latin School of Chicago for high school, $35,000 a year. I drove her to violin lessons and debate team and SAT prep classes. When she got into Northwestern University in 2018, I cried for 3 days straight. Mama, why are you crying? She asked me. Because you're going to have choices I never had, baby. You're going to walk into rooms I couldn't walk into. You're going to build whatever life you want. Mama, when I make it, you won't have to work anymore. I touched her face. Baby, I don't work because I have to. I work because I love it. I work because this is who I am. She smiled. But I wonder now if she heard me. Really heard me. For years I thought Jasmine and I were close. Really close. She'd come home from Northwestern on weekends and help me in the kitchen. She'd test new recipes. She'd tell me about her classes, her friends, her dreams. In 2020, during COVID, she came home for a year. Took her classes online from my house. We cooked together almost every night. I taught her my grandmother's recipes. I told her stories about Bronzeville, about our family, about the civil rights activists who ate at Grandma Ruth's table. Mama, she said one night, rolling out biscuit dough, I want to make you proud. Baby, I'm already proud. Always have been. No, I mean really proud. I want to be successful. I want to make money. I want people to respect our name. Jasmine, people already respect our name. You know how many families I've fed? How many lives I've touched? She looked at me with this expression I couldn't quite read. That's different, Mama. Different how? Just different. I should have pushed harder on that conversation. I should have asked what she meant. But I didn't. I let it go. Jasmine graduated from Northwestern in 2022, economics degree. She got a job at an investment firm downtown. $65,000 a year starting salary. Good job. Solid job. But the Chicago rent was expensive, so I helped her out. I paid her rent at a Lincoln Park condo, $6,500 a month. I figured she was young, starting out, needed support. That's what mothers do, right? We help our children get established. In 2023, she met Brandon Ashford IV. She told me about him over Sunday dinner at my house. Mama, his family is old Chicago money, real estate. His grandfather founded Ashford Properties. That's nice, baby. What's he like? He's wonderful. He's smart. He's educated. He went to Yale. He works at his family's company. Does he treat you well? Mama, of course. He's perfect. Something in the way she said perfect bothered me. Not because he was perfect, but because she seemed to need him to be perfect. I met Brandon in November 2023. They came to my house for Thanksgiving dinner. Brandon was polite, very polite, almost too polite. He called me Ms. Thompson the entire night. He complimented the food but barely ate. He asked careful questions about my business. Ms. Thompson, how many events do you cater per year? Depends on the year, usually around 200. That's impressive. Must keep you very busy. It does, but I love it. He nodded, smiled, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. After dinner, I overheard him on the phone outside. Yeah, we're still at her mother's. It's fine, very home-cooked. You know, traditional soul food. It's not really my thing, but Jasmine wanted to come. Not really his thing. I'd spent 18 hours preparing that meal. Turkey, dressing, sweet potato casserole, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, candied yams, cornbread, pecan pie, all from scratch, all made with love. But it wasn't really his thing. I didn't say anything to Jasmine. I should have. But I didn't want to be the mother who criticized her daughter's boyfriend. I didn't want to be the problem. Brandon proposed in February 2024, Valentine's Day. He took Jasmine to some expensive restaurant downtown, got down on one knee, gave her a ring that probably cost more than most people's cars. She called me immediately. "Mama, he proposed. I'm engaged." "Baby, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you." "Mama, can you believe it? Me, married into the Ashford family. Brandon says his parents are excited to meet you properly." Properly. As if Thanksgiving hadn't been proper enough. 2 weeks later, I met Brandon's parents, Charles Ashford III and Victoria Ashford. We met for brunch at the Peninsula Hotel. Brandon and Jasmine were already there when I arrived. Victoria stood when I approached the table. She was tall, thin, blonde. Probably 58, but looked 45. She extended her hand but didn't quite meet my eyes. "Mrs. Thompson, how lovely to finally meet you. Please call me Linda." "Of course." But she kept calling me Mrs. Thompson the entire meal. Charles was worse. He barely acknowledged me. He asked me one question the entire brunch. "And what do you do, Mrs. Thompson?" "I own a catering company, Elegance Catering. I've been in business for 32 years. How quaint. He said it like I'd told him I made crafts in my garage. Victoria jumped in. "Linda, do you understand the seating protocol for formal weddings? I only ask because, working weddings is quite different from attending them as a guest. I'm a professional caterer. I've coordinated 500 weddings. I've worked with the best event planners in Chicago. I've designed seating charts for 300 people. But Victoria Ashford was explaining protocol to me like I was a child. "Mrs. Ashford, I've actually catered countless weddings. I'm quite familiar with—" "Oh, that's right. You work weddings. How lovely. But as a guest, it's quite different, you see." I looked at Jasmine, waiting for her to say something, anything, to defend me, to correct Victoria's condescending tone. She said nothing. She looked down at her mimosa and stayed silent. After brunch, Jasmine and I walked to my car. "Jasmine, why did you let her talk to me like that?" "Like what, Mama?" "Like I don't know anything. Like I'm beneath her." "She was just trying to be helpful, Mama. You're being sensitive." "I'm not being sensitive. She was being condescending." "Mama, please. Brandon's family is traditional. They have certain ways of doing things. Can you just try to get along with them?" Try to get along with them, as if I'd been the problem. Over the next few weeks, something strange started happening. Conversations I remembered clearly, Jasmine claimed never happened. Decisions we'd made together, she said I'd misunderstood. It started small. "Jasmine, I thought we agreed on the Drake Hotel for the venue." "We did, Mama. You said you loved it." "I do love it. I've catered there for years." "Right, but you said you'd feel more comfortable if I handled the planning. You said big formal events make you anxious." "I never said that." "Mama, yes you did. Remember? When we first toured the Drake, you said, 'Baby, this is your day. I'll write the checks. You make the decisions.' Those were your exact words." "That wasn't what I said. I'd said, 'Baby, this is your day. I'm here to support whatever you want.'" "That's different. That's very different." But Jasmine was so confident, so certain. I started questioning myself. Did I say that? Did I forget? The incidents kept piling up. 2 weeks ago, we went dress shopping at Saks. I wore a beautiful burgundy dress I'd bought specifically for the occasion. Jasmine walked right past me in the store. "Mama, I thought you weren't coming." "What? You texted me the appointment time, 10 o'clock Saturday." "No, I texted you to ask if 10 o'clock worked for you, and you said you had a catering event. You said you couldn't make it." I pulled out my phone, showed her the text. "Baby, look, you sent me the time. I confirmed. Right here." She barely glanced at it. "Huh, I must have misread. Well, you're here now." But her tone had changed. Cooler, distant. "The worst incident happened 3 weeks ago. Jasmine called me about the guest list." "Mama, I need to talk to you about something sensitive." "What's wrong, baby?" "Brandon's family is concerned about the guest list. They're worried it's getting too eclectic." "Eclectic?" "They're just saying that maybe some of your guests might not fit the vibe we're going for." "My guests?" "Baby, I've only invited 15 people. Your aunties, my staff from Elegance, my close friends." "Right, but Mama, you have to understand. The Ashfords have a certain aesthetic. Very minimal, very modern, very refined." "And my guests aren't refined?" "I didn't say that. But Mama, you know how our aunties are. The big church hats, the loud laughing, the being black? Silence, long silence. Mama, that's not fair. Isn't it? Because it sounds like Brandon's family wants a white wedding, and I'm the complication. You're twisting my words. They just want elegant, sophisticated. And we're not sophisticated. Mama, stop. You're being dramatic again. Dramatic. That's what Robert used to say. Linda, you're being dramatic. It's not about your job being embarrassing. It's just different from what I'm used to. Now my daughter was using the same words. That's when I started to feel it. The fog, the confusion, the doubt. Was I being dramatic? Was I misremembering things? Was I the problem? I called my business partner, Denise Washington. Denise and I have been friends for 25 years. She's seen everything. She knows everything. Denise, am I losing my mind? Girl, what are you talking about? Jasmine keeps saying I said things I don't remember saying. She keeps telling me I'm being too sensitive. I'm starting to feel crazy. Linda, stop. You're one of the sharpest women I know. If you don't remember saying something, you probably didn't say it. But she's so sure, Denise. And I don't want to be the mother who starts problems. Linda Thompson, listen to me. You have never in your life started problems. You've solved problems. You've built problems into solutions. Don't let anyone make you doubt that. Not even your daughter. Which brings us back to Tuesday afternoon, April 8th, 3 days before the wedding. The email. Mama, change of plans. Brandon's family wants intimate ceremony. Family only. You understand, right? We'll send photos. Love, Jazz. I sat with that email for 3 hours. I read every word. I looked for hidden meaning. I tried to understand. Family only. But I was family. I was her mother. The woman who'd birthed her, raised her, sacrificed for her. The woman who'd paid for her education, her housing, her lifestyle. The woman who'd put $60,000 down on this wedding. But I wasn't family enough for the Ashfords. At 6 o'clock I called her. She answered on the 5th ring. Mama, I'm at dinner with Brandon's family. Can this wait? No, it can't wait. Jasmine, what does family only mean when I'm your mother? I heard her sigh. That sigh I'd been hearing more and more lately. The sigh that said I was being difficult. Mama, don't do this. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I'm not making anything hard. I'm asking a simple question. Am I invited to your wedding or not? Silence. Voices in the background. Then Jasmine's voice, muffled like she'd covered the phone. Give me a second. It's my mom. She's upset about the email. She came back on the line. Mama, you're being emotional right now. Remember Dr. Williams said you need to work on your reactions when you're stressed? Dr. Williams? Baby, I've never seen a Dr. Williams. Yes, you did, Mama. After the divorce. You went to therapy for a few months. You told me it really helped with your anxiety. My heart started pounding. I never went to therapy after the divorce. I couldn't afford therapy after the divorce. All my money went into keeping the business afloat and taking care of Jasmine. Jasmine, I never saw a therapist. I don't know where you got that. Mama, this is exactly what I mean. You forget things and then get upset when I remind you. It's okay. It happens. But you can't get angry at me for remembering things you don't. I felt the room spinning. She sounded so calm, so rational, like I was the one having trouble with reality. Jasmine, baby, I need you to hear me. I remember everything about the past 12 years. I remember every sacrifice I made, every choice, every conversation. And I'm telling you, with absolute certainty, that I never went to therapy. Okay, Mama, if you say so. Look, I have to get back to dinner. We'll talk about the wedding details later, okay? Jasmine, love you, Mama. Talk soon. She hung up. I sat in my office until midnight. I pulled out every calendar, every journal, every record I had from 2012 to 2014. I documented everything. I always have. It's how I run my business. Details matter. Records matter. Truth matters. There was no Dr. Williams. There were no therapy appointments. There was only me, working 70-hour weeks, raising my daughter, building my empire. My daughter was lying to me, or she genuinely believed something that never happened. Either way, something was very, very wrong. I called Denise. Girl, it's midnight. What's wrong? Jasmine uninvited me from her wedding. Silence. Then, she did what? Email this afternoon said it's family only, but Denise, that's not the worst part. When I called her, she started telling me I said things I never said. She claimed I went to therapy after the divorce. She's so convinced of things that never happened, and I'm starting to feel like I'm the one who's crazy. Linda, baby, you're not crazy. You're being gaslit. What? Gaslit. It's when someone makes you doubt your own reality, makes you question your memory, your perception, your sanity. Robert used to do it to you. Now Jasmine's learned the same trick. Why would my daughter gaslight me? Because someone's teaching her to. Someone's making her believe that you're the problem, that you're too much, too emotional, too complicated. And if I had to guess, I'd say it's Brandon's family. I thought about Victoria Ashford, the way she spoke to me at brunch, the way she treated me like I was hired help instead of the bride's mother, the way she said quaint and lovely and how nice, like they were insults wrapped in politeness. Denise, what do I do? First thing tomorrow, you pull every contract, every receipt, every record you have on this wedding. You document everything. Because, baby, if your daughter is trying to erase you from her wedding while using your money to pay for it, you need to protect yourself. I can't believe we're talking about my daughter like this. Neither can I, but here we are. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my kitchen, the kitchen I'd designed myself, the kitchen where I'd created 1,000 recipes, the kitchen where I'd taught my daughter to make her grandmother's biscuits, and I realized something. My daughter had chosen Brandon's family over her own mother. She'd chosen their approval over my dignity. She'd chosen their old money, their white world, their version of respectability over the woman who'd given her everything. And tomorrow, I was going to find out exactly how much power I actually had. Because if Jasmine wanted a wedding without her mother, she was going to learn what that actually cost. I woke up at 5:30 Wednesday morning after maybe 2 hours of sleep. I showered, got dressed, and drove to my office. The sun wasn't even up yet. The streets were empty. I felt like I was moving through water, like everything had slowed down and gotten heavier. My executive assistant, Keisha Williams, was already there when I arrived at 7. Keisha's been with me for 18 years. She's 45 years old, organized, loyal, and she knows my business almost as well as I do. She took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. Ms. Thompson, what happened? I told her about the email, about the phone call, about Jasmine claiming I'd gone to therapy that never happened. Keisha's face went hard. She's lying to you. I don't think she thinks she's lying. I think she actually believes these things. Then someone's putting these beliefs in her head. Who benefits from you doubting yourself? Brandon's family. Exactly. Ms. Thompson, what do you need me to do? Pull every contract, every invoice, every business relationship connected to Jasmine's wedding. I want to know exactly where my money went and who's involved. Keisha didn't ask questions. She just nodded and got to work. At 8 o'clock, my phone rang. Jasmine. Mama, we need to talk. I agree. Come to my office. I can't. I'm at Brandon's parents' house. We're finalizing details for Friday. But Mama, I need you to understand something. This isn't personal. How is uninviting me from your wedding not personal? It's complicated. Brandon's family has certain expectations. They're very traditional, very particular about how things should be done. And how things should be done doesn't include the bride's mother. Mama, they just think it would be easier if the ceremony was immediate family only. Brandon's parents, his brother, his grandparents, just the people who are closest to him. And I'm not close to you? You know what I mean. No, Jasmine, I don't know what you mean. Explain it to me. Silence, then carefully. Mama, you know how you can be sometimes. You ask a lot of questions. You have strong opinions. You make people uncomfortable. I felt something cold settle in my chest. I make people uncomfortable. Not on purpose. It's just your way. You're intense. Brandon's family is more reserved, more subtle. They don't really understand your energy. My energy. My grandmother's energy had fed a neighborhood. My energy had built a business from nothing. My energy had raised a daughter as a single mother while running a company. But to the Ashfords, my energy was something uncomfortable, something to be managed, something to be excluded. Jasmine, let me ask you something. When did you start seeing me the way they see me? What? When did you start being ashamed of me? Mama, I'm not ashamed of you. Then invite me to your wedding. Long pause. I can't. Why not? Because Victoria already sent the invitations. She already made the arrangements. Everyone knows it's going to be small and intimate. If I change it now, it'll look weird. Victoria. Not Brandon's mother, not Mrs. Ashford. Victoria, like they were friends, like they were equals, like Victoria Ashford had more authority over my daughter's wedding than I did. Jasmine, who's getting married? You or Victoria? That's not fair. Who's paying for this wedding? Mama, don't start with the money again. I'm not starting with anything. I'm asking a question. Who is paying for the Drake Hotel? Who paid the $60,000 deposit? You did, and I'm grateful. I really am. Grateful enough to invite me? Silence. That's what I thought. Jasmine, I need to go. I have work to do. Mama, please don't be upset. We'll do something special after. Just you and me. We'll have our own celebration. Our own celebration. Like a consolation prize for being excluded from the actual event. Goodbye, Jasmine. I hung up before she could say anything else. At 11:30, Denise called. Linda, I need you to meet me for lunch. Now. Denise, I'm in the middle of now. There's something you need to see. We met at a small cafe in Hyde Park. Denise arrived with her iPad and a look on her face I'd never seen before, somewhere between anger and heartbreak. What's going on? Last night after we talked, I couldn't sleep, so I did some digging. You know my niece Amber works at Ashford Properties, right? I didn't know that. Administrative assistant. She hears things. And last night I called her and asked if she'd heard anything about Brandon's wedding. My stomach dropped. What did she hear? Denise pulled up something on her iPad. She heard Victoria Ashford talking to her assistant. About you, about Jasmine, about the wedding. She turned the iPad toward me. It was an email chain. I started reading. From Victoria Ashford to Catherine Morrison, wedding planner. Subject Thompson Ashford wedding. Final arrangements. Catherine, few last-minute adjustments. We need to keep the guest list tight. Very tight. Brandon's family and close friends only. The bride's mother situation is being handled delicately. She won't be attending the ceremony. She's understanding about it, thankfully. She knows her place. She knows her place. I read it again. Then again. Keep reading, Denise said quietly. From Catherine Morrison to Victoria Ashford, understood. Just to confirm, the bride's mother won't be present at all? That's unusual. Should I expect any complications? From Victoria Ashford to Catherine Morrison. No complications. The mother is, well, she's a caterer. Very sweet woman, but not quite our social circle. You understand. Jasmine agrees it's better this way. The mother can see photos afterward. She'll be fine. Not quite our social circle. The mother can see photos afterward. She'll be fine. I pushed the iPad away. My hands were shaking. There's more, Denise said. Amber heard Victoria on the phone yesterday with one of her friends. She said, and I quote, "We're working on integrating the girl properly. She's moldable, thank God. The mother is the complication. Too Southside, too proud, too present. But we're handling it. Too Southside, too proud, too present." I thought about every conversation I'd had with Jasmine over the past few months. Every time she'd questioned my memory. Every time she'd told me I was being too sensitive. Every time she'd made me doubt myself. They've been coaching her, I said. Victoria's been teaching Jasmine how to push me out. It looks that way. I thought about the therapy story. The Dr. Williams who never existed. Had Victoria told Jasmine to say that? Had she taught my daughter how to gaslight me? Denise, I need to see Jasmine today. Are you sure you're ready for that conversation? No, but I'm having it anyway. I drove to Jasmine's Lincoln Park condo at 2 o'clock. The condo I paid for. $6,500 a month for the past 2 years. That's $156,000. I'd never mentioned it. Never asked for gratitude. That's what mothers do, right? We support our children. But standing outside her door, holding a bag of her favorite lemon cookies I'd made that morning, I realized something. Support without respect isn't support. It's enabling. I was about to knock when I heard voices inside. The door was slightly ajar. I recognized Jasmine's voice. And Victoria's. I should have knocked. I should have announced myself. But something made me stop. Something made me listen. Victoria, I'm having second thoughts about the whole thing, Jasmine said. Her voice sounded strained, tired. Sweetheart, we talked about this. Your mother will understand eventually. She's from a different generation, different expectations. But she's my mother. She raised me by herself. She's done everything for me. Of course she has. And no one's saying she's not a good person. She's just not appropriate for this particular event. You know how these things work. Perception matters. Branding matters. Branding. My daughter was being branded. I know, but the way she sounded on the phone yesterday, she sounded emotional because she doesn't understand the bigger picture. Jasmine, listen to me. Brandon's family opens doors, real doors. Your mother, as lovely as she is, represents a world you're moving past. You're ascending. She's staying where she is. Silence. Then Jasmine's voice, smaller. That sounds really harsh. It's not harsh, darling. It's reality. Look at where you came from. Nice enough, but limited. Look at where you're going. Unlimited potential. Your mother did her job. She got you to the starting line. Now it's time for you to run the race. And sometimes that means leaving certain things behind. Things. You mean people. You mean my mother. I mean the associations that hold you back. Jasmine, do you know what Brandon's family said when they first met your mother? They asked me if she was the wedding planner. They couldn't conceive that the bride's mother was a caterer. Do you understand what that means? In their world, in your new world, service workers don't become family. They remain service workers. That's classist. That's reality. And you can either accept reality and thrive within it, or you can cling to outdated notions of fairness and struggle. Which do you choose? Another silence. Longer this time. Then Jasmine's voice. I choose Brandon. Good girl. And choosing Brandon means choosing his world, his family, his standards. Your mother will adjust. Give her time. Meanwhile, let me handle the wedding details. You just focus on being the perfect bride. I heard footsteps moving toward the door. I stepped back quickly, crossed the hall, pretended to be checking my phone. Victoria emerged first. She saw me, and her face didn't change at all. Just smiled politely. Mrs. Thompson, how lovely to see you. Mrs. Ashford. She walked past me to the elevator. I stood there holding my bag of cookies, feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. Jasmine appeared in the doorway. Her face went pale. Mama, I didn't know you were coming. Clearly. How long have you been? Long enough. She stepped back into her apartment. I followed her inside. The apartment I paid for. The furniture I'd helped her pick out. The life I'd funded. We stood in her living room, neither of us sitting down. Mama, whatever you heard, I heard Victoria Ashford explain to you that I'm not appropriate for your wedding. I heard her call me a service worker who should stay in my place. I heard her tell you that choosing Brandon means leaving me behind. And I heard you say yes. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. Mama, it's not that simple. It seems pretty simple to me. You're ashamed of where you came from. I'm not ashamed. You're ashamed of me. Mama, stop. Tell me I'm wrong. Look me in the eye and tell me you're not ashamed of your mother, the caterer. Tell me you're not ashamed of Bronzeville. Tell me you're not ashamed of Grandma Ruth's kitchen and the church ladies and the South Side and everything that made you who you are. She couldn't look at me. She looked at the floor. That's what I thought. Mama, you don't understand what it's like. Brandon's family is different. They have expectations, standards. If I don't meet those standards, they'll what? Stop loving their son? Disinherit him? Jasmine, listen to yourself. You're twisting yourself into knots to please people who think you're not good enough anyway. They don't think that. They think you need to be integrated. They think your mother is a complication. They think you're ascending by leaving me behind. Those are Victoria's words, baby, not mine. Jasmine sat down on her couch, tears running down her face. Mama, I'm trying to build a life, a good life, a successful life. And you think you can't have that life with me in it? I think it's easier without certain complications. There it was. The truth. I was a complication. I set the bag of cookies on her coffee table. Jasmine, let me tell you something about complications. I was a complication when I was pregnant at 19 and your grandmother wanted me to give you up. I was a complication when I stayed married to your father even though he was embarrassed by my work. I was a complication when I built a business from nothing while raising you alone. And every single time I chose you over easy. I chose you over simple. I chose you over comfortable. Mama, but you're not choosing me. You're choosing the people who think I'm beneath them. And baby, that's your right. You're an adult. You get to make that choice. But don't you dare tell me I don't understand. I understand perfectly. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. One more thing. Victoria asked you who you choose, Brandon or me. That was a false choice. The real choice is this. Do you choose people who love you for who you are, or people who only love you for who they can make you into? Mama, please don't leave like this. I'm not leaving, baby. You already left. I'm just accepting it. I walked out, got in my car, drove back to my office, and I didn't cry. Not yet, because I had work to do. Keisha was waiting in my office with 3 folders. She spread them across my desk. Ms. Thompson, you need to see this. The first folder, Drake Hotel Contracts. You've been their exclusive caterer for 15 years. But more than that, remember 2020? When COVID hit and hotels were hemorrhaging money? I nodded. Drake needed capital for renovations and operating expenses. You invested $500,000 through your LLC for a 15% partnership stake. I'd forgotten about that. It had been a business decision. Help a partner, make a smart investment, diversify my portfolio. What are you saying? I'm saying you don't just cater at Drake Hotel. You partially own it. You're a stakeholder, and the contract has a clause. Any event booked through the hotel can be reviewed by stakeholders if it conflicts with Elegance Catering's business principles. I stared at the contract, my signature, my investment, my ownership. Jasmine had booked her wedding at a hotel I partially owned and excluded me. What else? Keisha opened the second folder. Your vendor relationships. I mapped them all. She'd created a chart. It was comprehensive, detailed, damning. Floral designer, Petal and Stem Company. Owner, Rebecca Martinez. Connection. You gave her first major contract in 2015. Referred her to 60-plus clients since. Her daughter is goddaughter to Denise. Photography, Moment Capture Studios, owner, Isaiah Brooks. Connection. You mentored him when he was starting out. Got him his first corporate gig. He credits you in every interview as the person who believed in him. String Ensemble, Harmony Strings, Chicago manager, Patricia Chen. Connection. You introduced them to the luxury event market. They've done 100-plus events with Elegance Catering. Consider you their primary referral source. Wedding planner, Morrison Events. Owner, Catherine Morrison, from the email. Connection. You've worked together on 200-plus events. She uses Elegance Catering for 80% of her weddings. Every single vendor Jasmine had hired was connected to me. Not just casually connected, deeply, professionally, financially connected. They're all beholden to you, Keisha said. Not because you demanded loyalty, but because you built relationships. You helped these people. You made their businesses possible. They owe you. The third folder, Financial Summary. Keisha had documented every dollar I'd spent on Jasmine since the divorce. Northwestern tuition and expenses, $312,000. Lincoln Park rent, 2 years, $156,000. Tesla Model 3, down payment and monthly, $48,000. Credit card payments, clothes, travel, lifestyle, $127,000. Graduate school application expenses, $8,000. Furniture and household setup, $23,000. Health insurance, family plan, $45,000. Miscellaneous support, groceries, gifts, emergencies, $91,000. Total, $810,000, almost $1 million. Spent on a daughter who'd decided I wasn't refined enough for her wedding. What about the wedding costs so far? I asked. Drake Hotel deposit, $25,000. Catering deposit with your company, $18,000. Flowers, $8,000. Photography, $5,500. Music, $3,500. Wedding planner, $6,000. Total deposits, $66,000. $66,000 I'd already paid. For a wedding I wasn't invited to attend. I sat back in my chair, looked at the numbers, looked at the relationships, looked at the power structure that Jasmine and the Ashfords had failed to see. They thought I was just the caterer, just the service worker, just the woman who should know her place. They didn't realize I was the ecosystem. Keisha, what happens if I pull my support from this wedding? Legally, you'd be within your rights. All these contracts have cancellation clauses. You'd pay penalties, but you'd be out. And the vendors? Ms. Thompson, I can't speak for them, but if you told them you were pulling out, and why you were pulling out, I suspect some of them would reconsider their commitments. Because they're loyal to me. Because they know who you are, and they know what you've done for them. I thought about Victoria Ashford's words. The mother is the complication. Too South Side, too proud, too present, too proud. Yes, I was proud. Proud of what I'd built, proud of who I'd become, proud of the community I came from and the woman my grandmother raised me to be. And maybe it was time to show the Ashfords exactly what happens when you try to diminish a proud black woman who's built her own empire. Keisha, set up a meeting. I want to talk to my daughter. One more time, face to face. And if she says no, then I make business decisions, not mother decisions. I called Jasmine at 6 p.m. She answered on the first ring. Mama, I've been trying to reach you all afternoon. I've been busy, working, at my job that's apparently beneath the Ashford family. Mama, please, can we talk about this? That's why I'm calling. I want to meet. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., my office. I can't tomorrow. Brandon and I have the final fitting. Jasmine, 9 a.m., my office. This is not a request. Silence. Then, okay, I'll be there. That night, I sat in my kitchen and thought about everything that had led to this moment. Robert leaving because he was embarrassed by my work. Jasmine growing up with a father who saw her mother as less than. Victoria Ashford recognizing that insecurity and exploiting it. My daughter, desperate to escape her origins, willing to erase the woman who gave her those origins. At midnight, my phone buzzed. A text from Denise. Whatever you're planning to do, I'm with you. That girl needs to learn that her mother is not a complication. She's a queen. I texted back. Tomorrow she learns exactly what kind of queen. At 1 a.m., I got another text. Unknown number. Ms. Thompson, this is Isaiah Brooks. Denise called me tonight. Told me what's happening. I just want you to know, I stand with you. Whatever you need. You gave me my career. I don't forget that. Then another text. Rebecca Martinez. Linda, I heard. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. I'm here if you need me. Then Patricia Chen from the string ensemble. Ms. Thompson, we love you. Just say the word. The community was rallying. The people I'd helped, supported, and lifted up were circling around me. Because that's what real community does. That's what real family does. At 2 a.m., I finally fell asleep. Not peacefully, but purposefully. Tomorrow, Jasmine would have to make a choice. A real choice. Not the false one Victoria had given her. The choice was this. Respect your mother or fund your wedding yourself. Because I was done being a complication. I was done being erased. I was done making myself smaller so other people could feel bigger. Tomorrow, Jasmine would learn what her mother was really made of. And the Ashford family would learn that old money means nothing when you're dealing with a woman who built her own power from scratch. They wanted me to know my place? I knew my place. I owned it. And I was about to show them exactly what that meant. Jasmine arrived at 9:15, 15 minutes late. She looked tired, stressed. Her makeup couldn't hide the circles under her eyes. She sat down across from my desk. I had all 3 folders in front of me. I'd been there since 7 a.m. reviewing everything one more time. Mama, before you say anything, I want to apologize. The things Victoria said yesterday were honest. Maybe the first honest words anyone said in months. They were cruel. They were true. That's how she sees me. That's how Brandon's family sees me. And Jasmine, the real question is that how you see me? She looked down at her hands. No. Look at me when you answer. She looked up. Tears already forming. Is that how you see me? Am I a complication? Am I too South Side? Too proud? Too present? Mama, you're my mother. I love you. That's not what I asked. Do you see me the way they see me? Long silence. Then quietly. Sometimes. At least it was honest. When did it start? I asked. When did you start being ashamed of me? I'm not ashamed. Jasmine, please. We're past lying now. When did it start? She wiped her eyes. Freshman year at Northwestern. There was this parents' weekend. You came up. You were so excited. You wore that yellow dress and you made all that food and you wanted to meet all my friends. I remember. And my roommate Emma, her parents were there. Her dad's a surgeon, her mom's a lawyer. They were talking about summer homes and European vacations and country clubs. And you started telling them about Elegance Catering, about how you built it from nothing, about Grandma Ruth's kitchen. What's wrong with that? Nothing was wrong with it, Mama. But Emma's mom asked what you did. And when you said catering, she said, "Oh, how quaint, like a little side business." And you said, "No, it's my career. It's my life." And she just smiled and changed the subject. I remember that woman. She was condescending. She was. But Mama, after you left, Emma asked me if you went to college. And I realized that in her world, in that world I was trying to enter, what you did didn't count. Building a business didn't count. Being successful on your own terms didn't count. Only certain kinds of success counted. Only certain kinds of people counted. And you wanted to be one of those people. I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted people to see me as more than the scholarship kid whose mom caters parties. So you started distancing yourself from me. Not consciously, but yeah. I stopped inviting you to campus events. I stopped talking about you to new friends. When people asked about my family, I'd talk about Dad being a lawyer, but I'd barely mention you. I made you smaller so I could seem bigger. At least she was being honest now. Finally. And then you met Brandon. And then I met Brandon. And his family is everything I thought I wanted. Old money. Old connections. Acceptance into a world I'd been trying to break into since freshman year. But Mama, they didn't want to accept me. Not really. They wanted to accept a version of me that didn't include you. And you let them create that version. I thought I had to. Victoria said, I know what Victoria said. I heard her. She coached you, didn't she? Taught you how to manage me, how to make me doubt myself. Jasmine nodded. She said you'd be difficult if we told you directly. She said it would be easier to create distance gradually, make you think it was your idea to step back, make you doubt whether you even wanted to be involved. The therapy story. The Dr. Williams who never existed. Victoria suggested it. She said if you thought you'd struggled with anxiety before, you'd be more likely to accept that you were being too emotional now. Mama, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how terrible it was until I heard myself saying it. But you said it anyway. I did, because I wanted Brandon's family to accept me more than I wanted to honor you. And that's the truth. That's the awful, shameful truth. We sat in silence for a long moment. Then I opened the first folder. Jasmine, I want to show you something. This is the Drake Hotel contract. See this section here? I'm not just their caterer. I'm a 15% owner. I invested $500,000 in 2020 to help them survive COVID. You booked your wedding at a hotel I partially own. Her face went pale. I opened the second folder. These are the vendor relationships. Every single person you hired is connected to me. Rebecca Martinez got her start through my referrals. Isaiah Brooks considers me his mentor. Patricia Chen's ensemble exists because I introduced them to the luxury market. They're not just vendors, Jasmine. They're family. They're community. They're people I've supported and lifted up for years. Mama, I didn't know? You didn't know because you didn't ask. You didn't care. You just assumed you could use my world while excluding me from it. I opened the third folder. And this is what it cost me to raise you. $810,000 since the divorce. Almost $1 million. Every tuition payment. Every rent check. Every car payment. Every time you needed anything, I gave it to you. Without conditions. Without keeping score. Because that's what mothers do. Jasmine was crying now. Really crying. But Jasmine, I need to ask you something. And I need you to answer honestly. Are you inviting me to your wedding? She looked up at me, face streaked with tears. I can't. Why not? Because I already told Victoria you weren't coming. Because I already told Brandon's family it would be intimate. Because if I change it now, they'll think I'm weak. They'll think you control me. Do they think Brandon's parents control him? That's different. How is it different? Because they're his parents. They have standing. They have class. Say it. They have class and I don't. Jasmine closed her eyes. Yes. So your final answer is no. I'm not invited to your wedding. Mama, after the wedding, things will be different. After we're married and settled, you can be part of our lives. We'll have you over for dinner. We'll celebrate holidays together. It'll just be different than it was before. Different how? More appropriate, more balanced, more white. She flinched, but she didn't deny it. I stood up, walked to my window, looked out at the south side of Chicago, the neighborhood where I was raised, the community that made me. Jasmine, I'm going to give you until 5 o'clock today to make a final decision. You can call me and tell me I'm invited to your wedding. Fully invited, as your mother, sitting where mothers sit with my family, with my friends, with no apologies and no shame. Or you can continue with your plan to exclude me. And if I continue with the plan? I turned back to face her. Then at 5:01, I start making phone calls. I cancel my partnership involvement with Drake. I pull Elegance Catering from the event, and I reach out to every vendor connected to me and explain why their services are funding an event designed to exclude and diminish the woman who helped build their businesses. You'd sabotage my wedding? I'd stop funding my own erasure. There's a difference. Mama, you can't do this. I can, and I will, because for 12 years, Jasmine, I've let you take from me while giving nothing back. I've let you treat me like a bank account instead of a person. I've let you make me small so you could feel big. And I'm done. You're blackmailing me. I'm setting boundaries. For the first time in your adult life, I'm requiring that respect and support go together. You don't get to have my money without having my presence. You don't get to benefit from my connections while being ashamed of my existence. Jasmine stood up. So what? You'll destroy everything because your feelings are hurt? My feelings aren't hurt, baby. My dignity is insulted, and I'm protecting it. By ruining my wedding. By refusing to fund an event that's designed to erase me. Jasmine, you have 7 hours to decide what matters more, the Ashford family's approval or your mother's respect. Choose wisely. She walked to the door, stopped, turned back. What happened to you, Mama? You used to be so supportive, so understanding. What happened to you, baby? You used to be proud of where you came from. She left. I sat back down at my desk. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. But I didn't cry. I'd cried enough over the past week, over the past months, over the past years of watching my daughter slowly distance herself from everything I'd taught her to value. Now it was time for consequences. At 5 o'clock, my phone would ring, or it wouldn't. And either way, Jasmine was about to learn what her mother was really made of. Because I wasn't just Linda Thompson, the caterer. I was Linda Thompson, the woman who built an empire. And empires don't beg for permission to exist. They just exist, and everyone else adjusts. I didn't leave my office after Jasmine left. I sat at my desk and I waited. Keisha brought me coffee at noon. Ms. Thompson, have you eaten anything? I'm not hungry. You need to eat. I need to wait. She didn't argue. Just set a sandwich on my desk and left quietly. At 1:30, my phone rang. Not Jasmine, Denise. Linda, Jasmine just called me. What did she say? She's panicking. She wants me to convince you to back down. She says you're being unreasonable. What did you tell her? I told her that her mother is the most reasonable woman I know, and that if she's in this position, it's because she put herself there. Thank you. Linda, are you really going to do this? Cancel everything? If she doesn't call by 5 o'clock, yes. That's 2 hours away. You ready for what comes after? No, but I'm doing it anyway. At 2:15, Robert called. Linda, what the hell are you doing? Hello, Robert. Jasmine called me crying. She says you're threatening to destroy her wedding. I'm not destroying anything. I'm declining to fund an event I'm excluded from. This is petty, Linda. This is beneath you. You know what's beneath me, Robert? Being told I'm not sophisticated enough for my own daughter's wedding. Being gaslit into questioning my own memory. Being treated like a checkbook instead of a person. She's your daughter. You don't abandon your daughter over hurt feelings. I'm not abandoning her. I'm teaching her that actions have consequences, something you never bothered to teach her. What's that supposed to mean? It means you spent her entire childhood telling her that my work was embarrassing, that I was too much, too loud, too black, too proud. You planted these seeds, Robert. Don't act surprised now that they've grown. Silence. Then, that's not fair. Neither is this situation, but here we are. Linda, please, think about Jasmine. Think about her future. I am thinking about her future. I'm thinking about the kind of woman she'll become if she learns that she can treat people terribly and face no consequences. I'm thinking about whether I want to enable that. You're her mother. Exactly. I'm her mother. Not her ATM. Not her servant. Not her complication. Her mother. And mothers deserve respect. I hung up. At 3 o'clock, Victoria Ashford called. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Mrs. Thompson, I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. Has there? Jasmine is quite emotional right now. I suspect she's miscommunicated some things. The wedding situation is simply a matter of logistics, space constraints. You understand? Mrs. Ashford, let me save us both some time. I heard you, yesterday, at Jasmine's apartment. I heard you call me a complication. I heard you say I was too South Side, too proud, too present. I heard every word. Silence. Then carefully. Mrs. Thompson, you must understand. These events have certain protocols. Protocols that exclude the bride's mother? Not exclude. Simply manage expectations. Manage. That's an interesting word. Is that what you've been doing? Managing me? Teaching my daughter to gaslight me? Coaching her to make me doubt my own reality? I've been helping Jasmine integrate into a world she aspires to join. By erasing where she came from. By helping her present herself appropriately. And I'm not appropriate. Mrs. Thompson, you're a lovely woman. You've built a nice business. You should be very proud. But you must understand that Brandon's family has certain standards. Let me stop you right there. I don't care about your family's standards. I don't care about your protocols. I don't care about your world. What I care about is my daughter. And what you've done to her. You've taught her to be ashamed of her own mother. You've taught her that love means erasure. You've taught her that success means abandoning the people who built her. That's not what That's exactly what you've done. And Mrs. Ashford, I want you to know something. In 2 hours, if my daughter hasn't called me, I'm pulling every resource I have from this wedding. Every vendor, every connection, every dollar. And you're going to learn something about the woman you tried to make invisible. Mrs. Thompson, surely we can discuss this reasonably. I'm being perfectly reasonable. I'm requiring respect as a condition of my support. That's the most reasonable thing in the world. You're being vindictive. I'm being a woman who knows her worth. Maybe that's what scares you. I hung up. At 4 o'clock, Keisha knocked on my door. Ms. Thompson, Isaiah Brooks is here, and Rebecca Martinez and Patricia Chen. They want to talk to you. All 3 of my vendors. All 3 people whose businesses I'd helped build. They filed into my office. Isaiah spoke first. Ms. Thompson, Denise called us, told us what's happening. We want you to know we stand with you. Whatever you decide. Rebecca stepped forward. Linda, you gave me my start. When no one else would take a chance on a Latina florist in this city, you did. You referred me to clients. You vouched for me. You made my business possible. If you pull out of this wedding, I pull out too. Patricia nodded. The string ensemble is with you. We don't perform at events that disrespect the woman who gave us our careers. I felt tears threatening. I pushed them back. You all have contracts. You'll lose money if you cancel. Isaiah shook his head. Some things matter more than money, Ms. Thompson. You taught us that. You taught us that how we treat people matters, that dignity matters, that community matters. We're not abandoning those lessons now. The Ashford family will be furious. They might blacklist you from other events. Rebecca smiled. Let them try. The people we want to work with are the people who respect what you built. Anyone who disrespects you isn't someone we want as a client anyway. I looked at these 3 people, these 3 businesses I'd helped nurture, this community I'd built without even realizing it. Thank you, I whispered. Thank you for seeing me. We've always seen you, Patricia said. It's your daughter who needs to open her eyes. They left, and I sat alone again, watching the clock. 4:30, 4:45, 4:55. My phone stayed silent. At 4:59, I picked up my phone, pulled up my contact list. Drake Hotel was first. The second hand ticked. 5 o'clock. My phone didn't ring. I waited 30 more seconds, giving her every possible chance. Nothing. At 5:01 p.m., I made the first call. Drake Hotel, this is Thomas Chen speaking. Thomas, this is Linda Thompson. Ms. Thompson, good afternoon. What can I do for you? I'm calling to exercise my rights as a stakeholder and exclusive catering partner. I'm canceling the Ashford-Thompson wedding scheduled for Friday, April 12th. Silence. Then, Ms. Thompson, The wedding is tomorrow. We have staff scheduled, rooms reserved, the ballroom prepared. I understand the timing is challenging, but as you know, the stakeholder agreement allows for cancellation with cause. The cause is this. The event organizers have excluded me, the contract guarantor and mother of the bride, from attending. That constitutes a fundamental breach of the principles underlying my partnership with Drake. Ms. Thompson, This is highly irregular. So is excluding the mother who's paying for the wedding. Thomas, I've been your partner for 15 years. Have I ever acted unreasonably? No, ma'am, never. Then trust me when I say this is necessary. Cancel the event. Notify the parties. I'll handle all penalty fees as outlined in the contract. Ms. Thompson, may I ask, does Jasmine know you're doing this? She had until 5 o'clock to call me. She chose not to. That's all the answer I need. I understand. I'll process the cancellation immediately. Ms. Thompson, for what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. Thank you, Thomas. Next call, Rebecca Martinez. Linda, is it time? It's time. Pull the flowers. Consider it done. Linda, I'm proud of you. I haven't done anything to be proud of yet. You're standing up for yourself. That's everything. Next call, Isaiah Brooks. Ms. Thompson, I already know why you're calling. Photography contract is canceled. I'm with you. Next call, Patricia Chen. The ensemble is out. Linda, we love you. You deserve better than this. Next call, Catherine Morrison, the wedding planner. Catherine, this is Linda Thompson. Ms. Thompson, I've been expecting your call. You've seen the emails. You know what's been happening. I do. And Mrs. Thompson, I want you to know, I never felt comfortable with any of it. Excluding a mother from her daughter's wedding is unconscionable. I should have said something. I should have refused the job. You have bills to pay, Catherine. I understand. That's not an excuse. But if you're calling to tell me you're pulling out, you should know. I'm pulling out too. I don't want any part of an event built on disrespect. Catherine? No, Ms. Thompson. Some lines shouldn't be crossed. This is one of them. I'll notify the Ashfords. I'll refund my fees. And I'll make it very clear why I'm stepping away. One by one, the dominoes fell. The vendors who'd built their businesses alongside mine, who understood community and loyalty and respect, all withdrew. At 5:45 p.m., my phone finally rang. Jasmine. Mama, what did you do? I made business decisions. I just got a call from Drake Hotel. They said the wedding is canceled. They said you canceled it. That's correct. Mama, the wedding is tomorrow, 24 hours away. People are traveling. People are already in Chicago. Brandon's entire family is here. Then they can enjoy Chicago. I hear it's lovely this time of year. This isn't funny. You're right. It's not funny. It's tragic. Tragic that my own daughter chose a family that despises her over the mother who built her. They don't despise me. They despise everything about you that isn't useful to them. They despise your background. They despise your mother. They despise the South Side. They tolerate you only because you're willing to erase yourself to please them. That's not true. Then why am I not invited to your wedding? Silence. Because I asked you 7 hours ago to make a choice, and you chose them. So now you get to live with that choice. Mama, please, I'll fix this. I'll call Victoria. I'll tell her you're coming. I'll make it work. It's too late, Jasmine. It's not too late. The wedding isn't until tomorrow. It's too late because you had months to do the right thing. Months to stand up for me. Months to tell the Ashfords that your mother was non-negotiable. But you didn't. You chose the easy path. You chose approval over integrity. And now you get to face the consequences. You're destroying my wedding to teach me a lesson? I'm protecting my dignity. There's a difference. Mama, I'm begging you. Please, please don't do this. And there it was. The begging, the pleading, the same tone she'd used when she was 5 years old and wanted ice cream before dinner. The same manipulation that had worked for 24 years. But not today. Jasmine, I love you. I will always love you. But I will not fund my own erasure. I will not pay for people to treat me as less than. I will not teach you that disrespect has no consequences. So what? I just don't get married? You can still get married. Just not on my dime, not at my hotel, not with my vendors, not with my blessing while you're ashamed of my presence. I'm not ashamed. Then prove it. Have a wedding that includes me. A real wedding, where I sit with my family, where I'm acknowledged as your mother, where the South Side comes to celebrate with the North Shore, where black and white mix without shame. Have that wedding, and I'll support you completely. I can't do that to Brandon's family. Then you can't have my support. It's that simple. I heard her crying. Really crying. The kind of crying that comes from the soul. Mama, I don't know what to do. Figure it out, baby. You're an adult. You're about to be someone's wife. Figure out what kind of woman you want to be. The kind who stands up for her mother? Or the kind who abandons her for acceptance? I hung up, and then I let myself cry. Friday, April 12th, the day that was supposed to be my daughter's wedding. I woke up at 6 a.m. I didn't sleep much. Maybe 2 hours total. I kept thinking about Jasmine, about what she must be going through, about whether I'd been too harsh. But then I remembered Victoria's voice. The mother is the complication, too South Side, too proud, too present. And I remembered that sometimes love means boundaries. Sometimes love means consequences. At 8 a.m., Denise called. Linda, you need to see this. See what? Check social media. Check the hashtag. I pulled up Instagram. Searched for hashtag Ashford Thompson wedding. The first post was from yesterday evening. A guest who'd flown in from New York. Just arrived in Chicago for the Ashford Thompson wedding tomorrow. Can't wait to celebrate at the Drake. Hashtag Ashford Thompson. Wedding. Hashtag Chicago wedding. Comments from other guests confirming attendance. Excitement. Photos of Chicago. Then posted at 11 p.m. last night. Update, wedding canceled. Just got an email from the venue saying the event is no longer happening. Anyone know what's going on? Hashtag Ashford Thompson wedding. The comments exploded. What? I flew from California for this. We drove 6 hours. What happened? This is insane. Who cancels a wedding 12 hours before? Then someone posted a screenshot. An email from Catherine Morrison, the wedding planner. Dear guests, I regret to inform you that the Ashford Thompson wedding has been canceled. The cancellation stems from fundamental disagreements about family values and the treatment of the bride's mother, who was excluded from attending her own daughter's wedding despite funding the entire event. I could not in good conscience continue my participation in an event built on such disrespect. I encourage you to spend your time in Chicago supporting local businesses in Bronzeville and the South Side, the communities that raised the bride, even if she's forgotten them. Catherine had gone scorched earth. The comments shifted. Wait, they excluded the mother? The bride's mom was paying for the wedding and wasn't invited? That's disgusting. I don't blame the mother for canceling. I'd do the same thing. Then Isaiah Brooks posted on his professional photography account. I was scheduled to photograph the Ashford Thompson wedding today. I withdrew from the contract after learning that Ms. Linda Thompson, the bride's mother, a pillar of Chicago's culinary community, and the woman who gave me my first major photography contract, was deemed inappropriate for her own daughter's wedding. I stand with Ms. Thompson. Some events don't deserve to be documented. Hashtag respect your elders. Hashtag Linda Thompson. Thousands of likes. Hundreds of comments supporting me. Rebecca Martinez posted photos of the flower arrangements she'd created. Beautiful white roses and peonies with the caption, "These flowers were meant for a wedding today. A wedding that excluded the mother who paid for them. I'm a mother. I'm a business owner. I'm a woman who understands that success means nothing if you forget where you came from. These flowers will instead be donated to Southside nursing homes in honor of Ms. Linda Thompson and her grandmother Ruth Wilson, who taught a generation of us how to feed our community with love." Hashtag Linda Thompson. Hashtag Bronzeville Proud. The support kept coming. People I didn't even know. People sharing stories about their own mothers. People talking about class, race, respect, dignity. The hashtag evolved. Hashtag Ashford Thompson. Wedding became hashtag I stand with Linda. Then at noon, the article dropped. Chicago Tribune, lifestyle section. Chicago caterer cancels daughter's wedding after being excluded. A story about class, race, and respect. Someone had talked to the press. Maybe Catherine, maybe Isaiah, maybe multiple people. The article was fair, detailed. It included quotes from vendors supporting me. It included background on Elegance Catering and my 32-year history in Chicago. It included the economic impact I'd had on local businesses. And it included a quote from a source close to the Ashford family. The Ashfords felt the wedding should reflect a certain aesthetic. The bride's mother, while accomplished in her field, didn't fit the vision they had for their son's marriage. It was never personal. It was simply about maintaining standards. The comments on the article were overwhelmingly on my side. Maintaining standards equals maintaining racism and classism. This woman built a business from nothing and her daughter is ashamed of her? Shameful. The Ashfords sound like exactly the kind of old money trash that gives Chicago a bad name. At 2 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. Ms. Thompson, this is Brandon Ashford. I sat up straight. Mr. Ashford, I wanted to call and apologize for everything. I didn't know my family was treating you this way. I didn't know they were coaching Jasmine to exclude you. I was focused on making my parents happy. I didn't think about what that meant for you. Where's Jasmine? She's here, at my parents' house. She's not doing well, Ms. Thompson. She won't stop crying. She won't talk to anyone. She just keeps saying she destroyed everything. Did she? Yeah, I think she did. My parents are furious. They're saying your daughter is unstable, that this whole situation proves she's not ready for our family. They're talking about postponing the engagement indefinitely. And what do you think? Silence. Then, I think I fell in love with a woman who was smart and ambitious and proud of where she came from. And somewhere along the way, my family convinced her to hide all of that. They convinced her to be ashamed, and I let them. So yeah, I think we need to postpone, because I don't want to marry someone who's trying to be someone else. That's probably the wisest thing you've said, Mr. Ashford. Can I ask you something? Would you ever forgive her for what she did? I thought about that. Really thought about it. I love my daughter, Mr. Ashford. I always will. But forgiveness isn't automatic. It's earned. Through changed behavior. Through accountability. Through time. So can I forgive her? Eventually. But she has a lot of work to do first. I understand. I'll tell her you said that. One more thing, Mr. Ashford. Your family called my daughter moldable. They saw her blackness, her background, her community as things to erase. If you ever want a real relationship with her, not the version your family tried to create, you'll need to stand up to them. You'll need to tell them that she's not a project. She's a person. And she comes with a history and a family and a community that deserve respect. I know. I'm working on that. Work harder. I hung up. 2 weeks later, Jasmine didn't call for 10 days. 10 days of silence. 10 days of me wondering if I'd lost her forever. 10 days of second-guessing every decision I'd made. But I didn't call her. I didn't chase her. I'd spent 24 years chasing her love. Now it was her turn to decide what she wanted. On day 11, she showed up at my house. No call, no text. Just knocked on the door at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. I opened the door. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back, red eyes. She'd been crying a lot. Mama? Jasmine, can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my living room, sat on the couch where she'd sat 1,000 times before, but this time felt different. Brandon and I are taking a break, she said. His family, they said things about me, about you, about us, things I didn't want to hear. What kinds of things? They called me ungrateful, uppity. They said I should be grateful they even considered me. They said black women from the South Side don't usually get opportunities like this. They said I was lucky Brandon saw potential in me. And what did you say? I said they were right, that I'd been lucky, that I understood they were taking a risk on me. My heart broke a little more. And then what happened? Victoria laughed. She said, "Oh, sweetie, you really don't get it, do you? We weren't taking a risk. We were doing charity. We were saving you from a life of serving canapes like your mother." And that's when I realized they never loved me. They loved the idea of me, the project, the black girl they could mold into something acceptable. How did that feel? Like everything you tried to tell me, like everything you warned me about. Mama, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She started crying, deep, soul-wrenching sobs. I sat down next to her, not touching her yet, just being close. Jasmine, I need you to understand something. I'm not sorry I canceled the wedding. I'm not sorry I set boundaries. I'm not sorry I protected my dignity. I know. But I am sorry that it took this much pain for you to see what was happening. I'm sorry I didn't teach you earlier about the difference between people who love you and people who want to use you. You tried to teach me, I didn't listen. Why not? She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in months, because I thought love meant changing. I thought if I could just be perfect enough, acceptable enough, white enough, then people would value me. I thought if I erased the South Side in Bronzeville and you in Grandma Ruth's kitchen, then I could become someone worth loving. And now? Now I realize I already was someone worth loving. I just didn't love myself enough to see it. I reached over, took her hand. Baby, you are brilliant. You are beautiful. You are accomplished. Not despite where you came from, but because of it. Every struggle I went through, every sacrifice I made, every lesson Grandma Ruth taught me, that's all in you. That's your foundation. And when you tried to erase it, you were erasing the best parts of yourself. I know that now. I wish I'd known it before I hurt you. So do I. We sat in silence for a long moment. Mama, can I ask you something? Anything. Can we try again? Can we rebuild this? I know I don't deserve it. I know I destroyed your trust, but can we try? I thought about that question, really thought about it. Jasmine, I love you. I will always love you. But love without respect isn't sustainable. So if we're going to rebuild this relationship, things have to change. I'll do anything. First, therapy, individual for you, family therapy for us, every week, no excuses. Okay. Second, you're getting a job, a real job, not at Robert's firm, not somewhere that your name gets you in the door, somewhere where you have to work, where you have to prove yourself. Okay? Third, 1 day a week you work at Elegance Catering, not as management, as staff. You'll help with prep. You'll help with service. You'll remember what work actually looks like. Mama, no arguments. You want to rebuild trust? You show me through actions, not words. She nodded. What else? You cut contact with the Ashford family. All of them, including Brandon. Brandon and I are already on a break. Not a break. Done. Because baby, as long as you're connected to that family, they'll keep pulling you back toward the person they want you to be. You need space to figure out who you actually are. That's going to be hard. Most worthwhile things are. Anything else? Yes. You write a letter to every vendor who pulled out of your wedding. You apologize. You explain what you learned. You thank them for standing up for me when you didn't. I can do that. And one more thing. You come with me next Sunday to Grandma Ruth's old church in Bronzeville. We sit with the aunties. We eat their collard greens and cornbread. We listen to their stories. And you remember where you came from. Jasmine started crying again, but this time it was different. Not hopeless tears, healing tears. I'm so sorry, Mama, for everything, for making you doubt yourself, for choosing them over you, for being ashamed of the most amazing woman I've ever known. I pulled her into my arms, held her the way I held her when she was little, when the world was simple and love was uncomplicated. I forgive you, baby, but you have to forgive yourself, too. You have to forgive yourself for being human, for making mistakes, for getting lost. What matters now is whether you can find your way back. Will you help me? Every step of the way. But Jasmine, I need you to understand, I'm not going back to who I was before. I'm not going back to being the mother who enables everything and requires nothing. That woman almost lost herself. The woman I am now has boundaries, has expectations, has self-respect. I like this woman better. So do I. 6 months later, Sunday morning, the Southside Youth Culinary Program graduation. I'd been running this program for 5 years, teaching young people from Bronzeville and surrounding neighborhoods how to cook professionally, how to build businesses, how to take their grandmother's recipes and turn them into careers. Today, 12 students were graduating. 12 kids who'd spent 6 months learning knife skills, flavor profiles, business management, and most importantly, dignity through work. I stood at the back of the community center, watching families arrive. Proud parents, beaming grandmothers, little siblings in their Sunday best. And there was Jasmine, serving food to the graduates' families, wearing an Elegance Catering apron, smiling as she handed plates to people from the neighborhood. Her neighborhood, the neighborhood she'd tried to escape. She caught my eye, smiled. A real smile, not the performance smile she'd worn at Northwestern. Not the people-pleasing smile she'd used with the Ashfords. Just her. After the ceremony, one of the graduates, a 16-year-old girl named Maya, approached me. "Ms. Thompson, I just want to thank you for this program, for believing in us, for showing us that cooking isn't just a job, it's an art. Maya, you earned this. You showed up every single day. You worked hard. You listened. You learned. I just created the space. You did the work. My mama wants to meet you. She's been telling everyone in church about how her daughter is going to be a chef like Linda Thompson." Her mother approached, a woman about my age wearing a beautiful purple dress and the biggest smile I'd ever seen. "Ms. Thompson, I'm Beverly Johnson, Maya's mama. I just want to thank you for what you've done for my baby. She comes home every week talking about you, about your grandmother, about Bronzeville. You're teaching her more than cooking. You're teaching her pride. Mrs. Johnson, Maya's extraordinary. She has real talent. She gets it from her grandmother. That woman could make a meal out of nothing and have it taste like everything. Just like you." I felt tears forming. That's the highest compliment anyone could give me. After the families left, Jasmine and I cleaned up together. She washed dishes. I dried. "Mama?" "Yes, baby?" "Thank you for not giving up on me." "I didn't give up on you. I gave up on the version of you that wasn't real. I waited for the real you to come back. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. I'm learning a lot about myself, about why I was so desperate for the Ashfords' approval." "What are you learning?" "That I was trying to earn from strangers what I should have valued in myself. That I was looking for validation in all the wrong places, that the approval I needed most was my own. That's good work, baby." I'm also learning that I was following Dad's blueprint. He taught me that Mom's work was shameful, that ambition meant leaving the South Side behind, that success meant becoming someone else. I didn't realize I'd internalized all that until therapy. Your father has his own issues to work through. He called me last week, said he's been thinking about how he treated you during the marriage, how he made you feel small so he could feel big. He said he's sorry. For all of it. That's between him and his conscience. He wants to apologize to you, too. Maybe someday I'll be ready to hear it. We finished the dishes in comfortable silence. Then Jasmine turned to me. "Mama, I got a job at a nonprofit, Southside Economic Development Initiative. I start Monday." "That's wonderful, baby. What will you be doing?" "Helping small businesses access capital and resources, helping people like you when they were starting out, people who have big dreams but limited access." I felt pride bloom in my chest. "That's perfect for you." "I know. And Mama? They asked if you'd be willing to come speak to their clients. Share your story. Talk about building elegance from nothing." "I'd be honored." She hugged me. A real hug. Not performative. Just grateful. "Mama, I know I can't undo what I did. I can't give you back the wedding you should have attended. But I want you to know, when I do get married, if I ever get married again, you're not just invited. You're walking me down the aisle. You're giving a speech. You're at the center of everything. Because you're my mother. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too, baby. Proud of the work you're doing. Proud of the woman you're becoming." That night I sat in my kitchen, the kitchen where I'd created 1,000 recipes, the kitchen where I'd taught my daughter to make biscuits, the kitchen where I'd cried over contracts and celebrated victories and built an empire one meal at a time. I thought about the past 6 months, about the pain, about the growth, about the lesson that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to accept less than you deserve. People ask me if I regret canceling Jasmine's wedding, if I wish I'd handled it differently, if I think I was too harsh. Here's what I tell them. I don't regret protecting my dignity. I don't regret teaching my daughter that love without respect is just pretty words wrapped around emptiness. I don't regret standing up for myself when everyone told me to be quiet and accept my place. What I regret is waiting so long to do it. I regret every time I made myself smaller so someone else could feel bigger. I regret every time I accepted disrespect because I was afraid of conflict. I regret teaching my daughter, through my own behavior, that a mother's love should come with no expectations of mutual honor. But I don't regret what I did, because sometimes the most radical act of love is saying no. Sometimes the best thing a mother can do is show her daughter what self-respect looks like, even when it's hard, even when it costs something, even when everyone calls you vindictive or petty or unreasonable. The cruelest manipulation isn't the lying. It's making you doubt yourself, making you question your own memory, your own worth, your own reality. It's teaching you to be grateful for scraps when you deserve the whole meal. Victoria Ashford tried to make me believe I was too South Side, too proud, too present, too much. She was right about one thing. I am proud. I'm proud of my grandmother's kitchen. I'm proud of Bronzeville. I'm proud of the 32 years I spent building something from nothing. I'm proud of being the kind of woman who feeds people with love and expects respect in return. And if that makes me too much, then I'm too much. Unapologetically, completely, permanently. Getting that pride back after it's been taken from you, that's the real work. Learning to trust yourself again after someone has taught you to doubt everything you know, that's the journey. And I do it every single day. Because love that requires you to be less than you are isn't love. It's just another kind of hunger. And I don't serve that anymore. I serve truth. I serve dignity. I serve community. I serve love that sees you completely and honors all of you. That's what my grandmother taught me. That's what I'm teaching my daughter now. That's what I'll teach my grandchildren someday. Feed people with love. Expect respect in return. Know your worth. Protect your dignity. Build your community. And never ever let anyone make you small to accommodate their comfort. My name is Linda Thompson. I'm 62 years old. I built an empire from a church basement. And I'm just getting started.